All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Lalema Aneja Dang, and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. Petrol gets cheaper by 9 rupees 50 paise per litre and diesel by 7 rupees as centre cuts excise duty. Subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinder for up to 12 cylinders a year to be given to over 9 crore beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan beginning tomorrow to take part in Quad Leaders Summit, to also hold bilateral meetings with the US President and Prime Ministers of Japan and Australia. Unification of 3 municipal corporations of Delhi to come into force today. Delhi court convicts former Haryana Chief Minister Om Prakash Chautala in disproportionate assets case. Year-long celebrations of 250th birth anniversary of Raja Ramohan Roy to begin today under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. World Economic Forum to begin today at Davos in Switzerland. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal to lead Indian delegation at the annual meeting. Labour Party leader Anthony Albanese to be the next Prime Minister of Australia as Scott Morrison concedes his party's defeat in parliamentary elections. French Open tennis tournament to begin today at Roland Garros in Paris. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Delhi Capitals by 5 wickets.
The Union government has reduced the central excise duty on petrol by 8 rupees per litre and on diesel by 6 rupees per litre. This will reduce the price of petrol by 9 rupees 50 paise per litre and of diesel by 7 rupees per litre. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced this in a series of tweets yesterday. The minister said it will have revenue implication of around 1 lakh crore rupees per year for the government. She exhorted all state governments, especially the states where reduction was not done during the last round in November last year, to also implement a similar cut and give relief to the common man. Ms. Sitharaman also announced that this year the government will give a subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinder up to 12 cylinders a year to over 9 crore beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. This will have a revenue implication of around 6,100 crore rupees a year. The government is also reducing the customs duty on raw materials and intermediaries for plastic products where the country's import dependence is high. This will result in reduction of cost of final products. The minister said, similarly, customs duty is being calibrated on raw materials and intermediaries for iron and steel to reduce their prices. Import duty on some raw materials of steel will be reduced. Export duty on some steel products will be levied. She said measures are being taken to improve the availability of cement and through better logistics to reduce the cost of cement. Ms. Sitharaman said the world is passing through difficult times due to COVID, and the Ukraine conflict has brought in supply chain problems and shortages of various goods. This has resulted in inflation and economic distress in a lot of countries. But despite the adverse economic conditions, Narendra Modi government is committed to ensure that prices of essential items are kept under control.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that financial decisions, especially the one relating to a significant drop in petrol and diesel prices, will positively impact various sectors. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said it will provide relief to our citizens and further ease of living. On the announcement of providing a subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinder to the beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, the Prime Minister said the decision on Ujjwala subsidy will greatly ease family budgets. He said Ujjwala Yojana has helped crores of Indians, especially women. It is always people first for the government, added Mr. Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah has said that even in this challenging global situation, the central government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has provided a huge relief to the common people. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said many such steps have also been taken for other sectors which will bring down the prices of products. BJP President JP Nadda has lauded the government's decision to slash the excise duty on petrol and diesel. He said it shows Prime Minister Narendra Modi's commitment to the welfare of the common man. Mr. Nadda has demanded that the opposition-ruled states should also reduce petrol and diesel rates so that common people can get some more relief amid inflation. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said the central excise duty cut on petrol and diesel is a major step towards easing prices. He said gas cylinder subsidy to over 9 crore Ujjwala Yojana beneficiaries will bring a smile on the faces of our mothers and sisters. Confederation of All India Traders CAIT has welcomed the central government's decision of reducing the prices of petrol and diesel. Talking to AIR News, CAIT Secretary General Praveen Khandelwal said with a reduction in fuel prices, the transportation cost will come down and the manufacturers should also cut the prices of various commodities.
केंद्र सरकार द्वारा डीजल और पेट्रोल के कीमतों में कमी की गई है वो वास्तव में एक बहुप्रतीक्षित कदम था और निश्चित रूप से इस निर्णय से जो महंगाई तेजी से बढ़ रही थी उस पर काबू पाया जा सकेगा और ये कहने में कोई भी संकोच नहीं है कि क्योंकि अब डीजल और पेट्रोल की प्राइसेस कम हो गई हैं तो जो ट्रांसपोर्ट की कॉस्ट है वो भी निश्चित रूप से कम होगी जिसके कारण से वस्तुओं के जो कीमतें हैं वो अब कम होनी चाहिए और उसका पूरा फायदा देश के उपभोक्ताओं को मिलना चाहिए.
We spoke to people belonging to various sections of society about the cut in excise duty.
मेरा नाम विजेंद्र है. मैं फरीदाबाद हरियाणा का रहने वाला हूं. सरकार ने पेट्रोल और डीजल की कीमतों में कमी की है और सरकार का यह फैसला निसंदेह है देश के आम नागरिक को, मध्यम वर्ग को, लोअर मिडिल क्लास को बेहद राहत देने जा रहा है.
मेरा नाम पवन जायसवाल. मैं न्यू अशोकनगर दिल्ली में रहता हूं. पेट्रोल और डीजल की कीमतों में कमी करने का सरकार का फैसला सराहनीय है. जैसा कि आप जानते हैं पेट्रोल और डीजल की कीमतों में बढ़ोतरी सामान्य व्यक्ति के जीवन को प्रभावित करती है. ट्रांसपोर्टेशन महंगा होने की वजह से खाद्य सामग्री की कीमत बढ़ जाती है जो लोगों की जेब पर सीधा असर डालती है. तो सरकार का फैसला आम आदमी को महंगाई से थोड़ी निजात जरूर दिलाएगा.
मेरा नाम अश्वनी है और मैं उदयपुर में रहता हूं. पेट्रोल और डीजल में जो कीमतों में जो गिरावट आई है वो आम जनमानस पे व्यापक स्तर पर असर डालेगा. इसमें माल भाड़े से लेके और हमारे जो घरेलू सामान है, किचन के सामान है, जिस तरीके से महंगाई अभी बढ़ी है, एक स्ट्रेस एक आम आदमी झेल रहा है. ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रयास है आम आदमी को व्यापक स्तर पर एक पॉजिटिव न्यूज देने के लिए.
मेरा नाम अमिता अग्रवाल है और मैं दिल्ली की निवासी हूँ. हालिया में जो अभी 9.5 रुपए पेट्रोल और 7 रुपए डीजल कम हुए हैं उसको लेके मैं बहुत ही ज्यादा आशावान हूँ. इससे हमारे घर खर्च के साथ ही जो रसोई का बजट है वो भी ठीक होगा क्योंकि पेट्रोल डीजल बढ़ने से हमारी जो सब्जियां हैं, फल है, राशन का सामान है कॉस्टली हो गई थी. तो इससे हम सभी को बहुत लाभ मिलेगा.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 2-day visit to Japan beginning tomorrow to participate in the Quad Leaders Summit in Tokyo at the invitation of Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Briefing media in New Delhi yesterday, Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Quatra said, apart from participating in the Quad Summit, Mr. Modi will also hold bilateral meetings with US President Joe Biden and Prime Ministers of Australia and Japan. Mr. Modi will also engage with the Japanese business community and the Indian diaspora during his stay in Tokyo. On the Quad Leaders Summit, Mr. Quatra said, Quad cooperation is anchored in the shared values and commitment to the principles of democracy, international law, and rules-based international order, is also vision for a free, open, and rules-based and inclusive Indo-Pacific. The upcoming summit in Tokyo will provide an opportunity to take stock of the progress made so far on Quad's initiatives and also give guidance for the future. Mr. Modi, on his bilateral meeting with the US President on the 24th of this month, the Foreign Secretary said, the India-US relationship is multifaceted, diversified, and has acquired momentum. Mr. Modi will also meet his Japanese counterpart. The Foreign Secretary said Japan is among India's most important partners, and Mr. Modi has referred to the India-Japan relationship as one of the most natural in the region. In the last few years, India-Japan special strategic and global partnership has seen great momentum. The economic pillar, and within the economic pillar, the commercial, and within the commercial pillar, the business-to-business partnerships, are very critical segment of our relationship. It frankly includes trade, which is crucial, technology, and investment partnerships. Within the broad rubric of trade, investment, and technology, there is a whole set of specific areas in which this partnership is to be taken forward. The Foreign Secretary said it is expected that Mr. Modi will also meet the new Australian Prime Minister in Tokyo.
The unification of 3 civic municipal bodies of Delhi will come into force today. According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Delhi Municipal Corporation Amendment Act 2022 will come into effect today. Senior IAS officer Gyanesh Bharti has been appointed as the Commissioner of Municipal Corporation of Delhi. The ministry has also appointed Senior IAS officer Ashwani Kumar as Special Officer for the MCD. Parliament had passed the Delhi Municipal Corporation Amendment Bill 2022 during the recently concluded budget session. The Act envisages bringing about greater transparency, improved governance and more efficient delivery of civic services for the people of Delhi. The Act reduces the number of wards to 250 from the existing 272. While North and South corporations have 104 wards each, the East Corporation has 64 wards. A Delhi court has convicted former Haryana Chief Minister Om Prakash Chautala in a disproportionate assets case. Special Judge Vikas Dhal passed the order and posted the matter for the 26th of May when the court will hear the arguments on the quantum of sentence.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Petrol gets cheaper by 9 rupees 50 paise per litre and diesel by 7 rupees as centre cuts excise duty. Subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinder for up to 12 cylinders a year to be given to over 9 crore beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan beginning tomorrow to take part in Quad Leaders Summit, to also hold bilateral meetings with US President and Prime Ministers of Japan and Australia. Unification of 3 municipal corporations of Delhi to come into force today. Delhi court convicts former Haryana Chief Minister Om Prakash Chautala in disproportionate assets case. Year-long celebrations of 250th birth anniversary of Raja Ramohan Roy to begin today under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. World Economic Forum to begin today at Davos in Switzerland. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal to lead Indian delegation at the annual meeting. Labour Party leader Anthony Albanese to be next Prime Minister of Australia as Scott Morrison concedes his party's defeat in parliamentary elections. French Open tennis tournament to begin today at Roland Garros in Paris. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Delhi Capitals by 5 wickets. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप कॉम्पिटिशन्स की तैयारी कर रहे हैं? आपके लिए आकाशवाणी लाया है एक इंटरैक्टिव प्रोग्राम अभ्यास, एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम जहां आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। हमारे स्टूडियो में एक्सपर्ट आपके सवाल का जवाब देंगे शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे। इस बार का विषय है इंडियन पॉलिटी सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशंस। आपके सवालों का हम करेंगे इंतजार 25 मई तक। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
The Ministry of External Affairs has termed President Ram Nath Kovind's visit to Jamaica and St. Vincent and Grenadines as historic. Briefing the media, Secretary East in the MEA, Saurabh Kumar, said that the warm reception accorded to the President in both the Caribbean nations shows a deep connection with the two island nations.
Both in Jamaica and in St. Vincent and Grenadines, we have carried out socio-economic development project, quick impact projects. We have assisted St. Vincent and the Grenadines during adverse circumstances when they have had hurricanes and other natural disasters. And one of the agreements which was signed in SVG was for a quick impact project. So our socio-economic development projects in both these countries have been greatly appreciated.
The annual meeting of World Economic Forum will begin today at Davos in Switzerland. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will lead the Indian delegation at the 5-day meet. The delegation will include Health and Family Welfare Minister Mansukh Mandaviya, Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, Chief Ministers and Senior Ministers of 6 states, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Telangana. Several industry leaders will also participate in the deliberations of World Economic Forum, WEF. This event would further help reinforce the country's position as an important and relevant stakeholder in shaping the global narrative, particularly as India assumes presidency of the G20 next year. The WEF will also be a platform to project India as an attractive investment destination in view of its robust economic growth and stable macroeconomic indicators. Mr. Goyal will also visit the United Kingdom on the 26th and the 27th of this month to hold discussions with the UK government and business communities on the progress made in free trade agreements negotiations. During the summit meeting between the Prime Ministers of India and the UK, the two leaders had set the timeline of Diwali 2022 for the finalization of the FTA between the two countries.
And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
22nd of May 1772 is the birth anniversary of the great social reformer and the pioneer of the Bengal Renaissance, Raja Ramohan Roy. He was born in village Radhanagar of the Hooghly district in Bengal. By the age of 15, Raja Ramohan Roy had learnt Bangla, Persian, Arabic and Sanskrit. He stood firmly against all sorts of religious bigotry and superstitions. This led to differences between Raja Ramohan Roy and his family. Following differences, he left the house and wandered around the Himalayas and went to Tibet. He travelled widely before returning home.
After his return, Raja Ram Mohan Roy's family married him in the hope that he would change. But this did not have any effect on him. Raja Ram Mohan Roy went to Varanasi and studied the Vedas and the Upanishads deeply. When his father died in 1803, he returned to Murshidabad. Ram Mohan Roy then worked as a money lender in Calcutta, and from 1809 to 1814, he served in the Revenue Department of the East India Company.
In 1814, Raja Ramohan Roy formed Atmiya Sabha. Atmiya Sabha tried to initiate social and religious reforms in the society. Raja Ramohan Roy campaigned for the rights of women, including the right for widows to remarry and the right for women to hold property. He actively opposed the sati system and the practice of polygamy.
He also supported education, particularly education of women. In 1822, he founded a school based on English education.
In 1828, Raja Ramohan Roy founded the Brahmo Samaj. Through it, he wanted to expose the religious hypocrisies. His efforts bore fruit when the sati system was abolished in 1829.
In 1831, he was given the title Raja by the Mughal king Akbar II, who sent him to the United Kingdom as an ambassador of the Mughal Empire to ensure that the Bengal Sati Regulation 1829 banning the practice of sati was not overturned. In addition, Roy also petitioned the king to increase the Mughal emperor's allowance. On the 27th of September 1833, while on a visit to Britain, he died of meningitis in Stapleton near Bristol. Stapleton Grooves is the place where he was laid to rest initially. Later, he was reinterred in the nearby Arnos Vale Cemetery in 1843, where his mausoleum still stands. We also remember Bhailal Dajibhai Patel, who was a resident of Patej, district Kheda, Gujarat. He actively participated in the Dharsana Salt Satyagraha 25 miles south of Dandi in May 1930. Gandhiji decided on a raid of the Dharsana salt works. He wrote to the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, and warned him about his plan. In order to prevent this, Gandhiji was arrested on the 4th of May 1930 and detained without trial near Pune.
But the Dharsana Satyagraha went ahead as planned by Gandhiji, with Abbas Tayyibji, a 76-years-old retired judge, leading the march with Kasturba Gandhi at his side. Both were arrested before reaching Dharsana and sentenced to 3 months' imprisonment. Even after their arrests, the Satyagrahis, of whom one was Bhailal Dajibhai Patel, continued to march under the leadership of Sarojini Naidu, who warned them.
You must not use any violence under any circumstance. You will be beaten, but you must not resist. You must not even raise a hand to ward off blows.
As apprehended, the armed forces began clubbing the Satyagrahis with steel-tipped lathis in an incident on the 22nd of May 1930. Bhailal Dajibhai Patel suffered severe lathi blows and kicks and expired on the spot within half an hour. We salute the great nationalist. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
The Union Culture Ministry will commemorate the 250th birth anniversary of Raja Ramohan Roy from today till the 22nd of May next year under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The inaugural ceremony will take place at Raja Ramohan Roy Library Foundation at Salt Lake and Science City Auditorium in Kolkata today. Union Minister G. Krishan Reddy and West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar will attend the ceremony.
Australian Labour Party leader Anthony Albanese will take over as the next Prime Minister of the country after Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison conceded defeat in the national elections. Early results showed Labour winning at least 72 seats of the 76 needed to form a government. The counting of votes is still underway for Parliament elections. The counting started shortly after polling ended Saturday evening. In his victory speech, Albanese vowed to unite the country, tackle climate change, address the aged care crisis, committed to an Indigenous voice in Parliament, and vowed to establish a Federal Integrity Commission.
I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. I pay my respect to their elders, past, present and emerging, and on behalf of the Australian Labor Party, I commit to the Uluru Statement from the Heart in full. Tonight, the Australian people have voted for change.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Australian Labor Party leader Anthony Albanese on his party's election win. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said he's looking forward to working with him for further strengthening the comprehensive strategic partnership and for shared priorities in the Indo-Pacific region.
Russia has halted its gas exports to neighbouring Finland in the latest escalation of dispute with Western nations. Russian gas giant Gazprom said it has completely halted gas supplies to the Finnish gas company since the company has not received payments in rubles. In a statement, the Finnish company said during the upcoming summer season, Gazprom will supply natural gas to its customers from other sources through the Baltic Connector pipeline. Gazprom's gas filling stations in the gas network area will continue in normal operation, it added. The move comes after Gazprom demanded that European countries pay for Russian gas supplies in rubles because of sanctions imposed over Moscow's military action in Ukraine. Finland has refused to comply. In Bangladesh, the Organization of Liberation War Fighters Mukti Jodha Mancho took out a protest rally in Dhaka yesterday against the proposed visit of a delegation of journalists to Pakistan. Speakers at the rally called the proposed visit of media persons to Pakistan as an anti-Bangladesh conspiracy of Pakistan.
In the Hockey India Sub-Junior Women National Championship, defending champion Haryana will take on Jharkhand in the title clash at the Imphal in Manipur today. For the third and fourth place, Madhya Pradesh will take on Uttar Pradesh at 8 a.m. today. The summit clash will also be held at 6 p.m. today. French Open Tennis Tournament, the second Grand Slam event of the year, kicks off at Roland Garros in Paris today. Leading the list of players in the action today are Madrid champions Carlos Alcaraz and Ons Jabeur. Other big names including former champions Garbine Muguruza, top 10 player Maria Sakkari and men's singles title contender Alexander Zverev will also be seen in action on the tournament's opening day. In IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians defeated Delhi Capitals by 5 wickets at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai last night. Today, Sunrisers Hyderabad will take on Punjab Kings at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai at 7:30 p.m.
And now let's have a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 26 and maximum will be 41 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature was 26 and maximum should be around 34 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was 27 and maximum will be 37 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Srinagar will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain, while Jammu will have a partly cloudy sky. Leh will have a generally cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad and Gilgit are likely to have a partly cloudy sky with the possibility of rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Centre slashes fuel taxes, sets 200 rupees subsidy on LPG cylinder is the Hindu headline. You've brought glory to India, PM meets Deaflympics champs headlines. The Times of India on their best performance ever this time. 16-year-old chess prodigy Pragnanandha from Chennai has defeated Norwegian world champion Magnus Carlsen for the second time, writes Hindustan Times.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Petrol gets cheaper by 9 rupees 90 paise per litre and diesel by 7 rupees as centre cuts excise duty. Subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinder for up to 12 cylinders a year to be given to over 9 crore beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan beginning tomorrow to take part in Quad Leaders Summit. Unification of 3 municipal corporations of Delhi to come into force today. Delhi court convicts former Haryana Chief Minister Om Prakash Chautala in a disproportionate assets case. year-long celebrations of 250th birth anniversary of Raja Ramohan Roy to begin today under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. World Economic Forum to begin today at Davos in Switzerland. Labour Party leader Anthony Albanese to be the next Prime Minister of Australia as Scott Morrison concedes his party's defeat. French Open tennis tournament to begin today at Roland Garros in Paris. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Delhi Capitals by 5 wickets. And that's the end of the morning news. Have a nice day.